Welcome to this exciting afternoon session, which will be both the pitching session and a panel discussion. We will focus, obviously, and you know it because you're here, on energy and environmental technology companies. My name is Magnus Rehn. I'm a business coach at Sting, and I will be the moderator during this 75 minutes, or sort of a master of ceremonies. As my assistant, I have Rebecca in the corner over there. She will be taking the time on the pitches, and we decided that she will give you a signal when there is 30 seconds left. We will not cut you off like that, but 30 seconds left, and then you know. And she will also keep tab of the voting that you will do later. So she will actually be the first one to see the result. We have a panel for which we're very happy. And this is Dr. Rolf Nagel, it's Tarja Teppo, and it's Paul Turk. I'll introduce you if you don't mind. Dr. Rolf Nagel has been active in the venture capitalist business since 1993. He founded Munich Venture Partners together with his partner in 2004. It is Rolf's vision and passion to take an idea and turn it into a market success and to assist entrepreneurs in both words and deed. Working together in Munich Venture Partner to provide a service. Together with his partner, Rolf worked to establish the link between Munich Venture Partner and the Fraunhofer Gesellschaft. Rolf Nagel is on the advisory board of CPM, Prolupin, Novitum, and as a founding investor and observer on the board of directors Harvest Power in the US. Prior to his work in Munich Venture Partner, Rolf Nagel was a partner investment manager with Star Ventures, a leading international venture capital fund based in Munich for more than 10 years. Correct? Tarja Teppo is the co-founder of investment firm Cleantech Invest. In her role, Tarja has been involved with renewable energy and other cleantech research and advisory projects for the Nordic institutional and industrial investor, and as a co-founder of Cleantech Invest. Through the firm, Tarja has been involved in organizing the Nordic Cleantech Venture Day since 2005. Tarja has previously worked for Nokia Ventures organization in the US and headed R&D groups at Nokia Corporation. Finally, Paul Turk is a managing director in Europe of the Arch Venture Partner, a firm that invests in the development of seed and early stage advanced technology companies. Previously, Paul was co-founder and initial CEO of Innovalite, acquired by DuPont, and Cool Edge Lighting. He has participated in the development of Arch portfolio companies, Cambrios Technologies, Coutura, Nitronex, and Semprios. In addition, Paul played a key role in Arch efforts at Los Alamos National Laboratory and Sandia National Laboratories in their entrepreneurial in-residence program in the US, Department of Energy. Before that, Paul was a director of operations for NABS, a supplier of electronic components. You remember this now? Mm-hmm. Good. Quickly just go through the format. Today we will have, first part, we'll be listening to the company pitches. They're all here and very anxious. The panel will make comments and ask a few questions to each one of you after your pitches, directly after your pitches. After all the pitches, the panelists will secretly write their favorite pick of choice. And that is in which of the companies they are willing to invest. At the same time, you in the audience will do the same, but you will use a mobile service that you will learn about a little bit later. So you will make your vote on your phones, and through some magic, this vote will be accumulated and land in the computer over there. So we'll have the score, and you will get the sign-on information later on. During the second part of this session, we will pick the brains of our panel and discuss investments in clean tech nowadays and in the future. And the expectations for different segments of the cleantech segment. Finally, we will disclose the result and honor the winners, etc., etc., etc. So there will be one winner. There will be 3 finalists. Good. So we're now coming to the pitching moment, and they sit in the order of pitching. And the first company to start off with Sol Voltaic, then we'll have OptiString Technologies, Core Power Ocean, Wadi, Orbital System, Lunalec, and Disruptive Materials. The total solar energy absorbed by the Earth atmosphere, ocean and land masses is more energy in 1 hour than what we consume during the whole year. The amount of solar energy that actually reach all the way through to the surface of the planet is so vast that that represents in 1 year more than twice as much as all the fossil fuel taken together in coal, natural gas, oil, etc., forever. So 1 year is twice as much as all the reserves together. Beatles recorded Here Comes the Sun already in 1969. They knew. Eric, welcome. How can we harvest this energy in the best way possible?
Thank you, Magnus, and thank you, Sting, for having this event and having us here. Welcome to Jerry, and welcome everybody here. My name is Eric Olsson. I'm the Director of Business Development at Sol Voltaics. Sol Voltaics is an advanced material company. The solar industry, why the solar industry? Because it's been growing, and it continues to grow. It's been tenfolded in the last 5 years. But at the same time, prices of the solar module has really been dropping. It's been decreasing with 70% over the same time period. So right now, everybody is focused on how to increase the efficiency of the solar panels. Because with improved efficiency, then you can reduce the number of panels and thereby reduce the cost. Or at the same time, you can increase if you can increase the power, you can also increase the price of your products. So that's really leverage the profit for those companies. But efficiency is very, very hard. We are using the most advanced materials called gallium arsenide, which is the best purpose for absorbing the sun. But we invented a new way to produce that those structures, nanostructures. We can use a fraction of what anybody else can use, but still absorbing almost the same efficiency. We produce those nanowires and deposit them into an ink. That one ink that we can later on ship to the global manufacturers all over the world, and they integrate it in their production processes so they can increase the efficiency. We are addressing both the film panels, where we can reach around an 18% efficiency, as a standalone solution, where actually is changing the active materials to our gallium arsenide nanowires, or we can deposit on top, making a tandem solar cell or a stacked solar cell, using both the silicon substrate but with our active nanowires on top of that one, increasing the total efficiency of about 25% of the current. So we are actually addressing the whole market here as an advanced material supplier. We were founded in 2008 out of Lund University, so we have a very strong background in science. We've been so far been funded by both regional R&D grants and from the government grants, but mostly we've been funded by some of the most prominent investors here and up in the Nordics. Today we have managed to build a very strong technology and IP platform, really that making a good springboard for future growth. But also we managed to attract some of the most talented people in the area to actually move down to Lund from Silicon Valley, from Switzerland, from all over the world. And today we are about 30 people. This year we are building a pilot production line, actually showing that we can produce these nanowires in large quantities and continuously. Next year we will start shipping those materials to customers for testing, beta customers. And in 2016 we will scale up production and actually having products out on the market. If you want to join us for this journey of success, please join us in our booth over here, and we can tell you more about the story and how you can join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Stand where you are. That's okay. So, comments or questions from our panel?
What are your production yields with the gallium arsenide?
The production.
The production yields, normally a gallium arsenide is very brittle, not so easy to manufacture.
No.
How do you cope with that?
Difficult to hear.
Sorry.
There is a mic, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I should have that. Hello?
Sorry for that. Just asking, how do you cope with production yields? Because gallium arsenide material is very brittle,
Yeah.
and there's some challenges, especially with a small company.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why one of the reasons why we are so many people, because it's a lot of trick. I mean, it's a very difficult material to manage to be able to produce large quantity and also in such a small structures as the non-wires. But yes, we are producing that with our unique production process called the efficency process. So instead of actually using the kind of standard way to producing nanowires is epitaxial. When you have a surface and you're growing it from a seed particle on that surface, you're growing each nanowires. But instead of doing that, we start with an aerosol and particle, and we start growing in a continuous way through reactors. So, and that increases the speed from 100 to 1,000 times more faster production process, and thereby more cost efficient as well.
What's the yield at the moment?
The thing is, we are the current machine as we have is a very small one. It's a proof of principle basically, and the one we are building right now is a pilot production line, and that one will be up and running in this autumn and be functional, producing functional wires in the end of the year. So, and that day I can actually answer the question. But so there's some questions around the yield so far.
Paul, you had a question as well.
Yeah, I mean, is this on?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit closer.
It seems so loud. I feel like it.
Yeah.
But so anyway, this comes out of Lars Samuelsson's
Yeah.
lab. He's like world leader in the field. So that's what I think has always been interesting about Sol and his other companies. The aerotaxi is a really cool idea. The only issue, just getting at what Rolf was saying, is like you have yield for gallium arsenide generally, especially when you have these, axial structures where you have a PIN
Yeah.
structure. But the other piece that's challenging about a gas phase, in situ approach like that is you have to make sure that all the wires align properly on the substrate,
Exactly.
whether in either of those embodiments, and have the appropriate length so that you can connect them, electrically. So, I mean, that's one of the challenges. I mean, this is a really ambitious project.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's really cool stuff. And the only issue just in the market, I know we're going to talk about this later, but, one of the unfortunate things in the market is, solar's kind of had a tough row of it recently. But I think, if you guys can stick it out a little further, you may get over that hump and be able to do some interesting things. I guess my question would just be, how much have you raised to date? Like, where to get to this point?
Yeah, we closed the latest round, which was actually a Series A round. We closed in September last year, where we closed 16 million US with a combination of private investors and some public grants or conditional loans. But most of it came from private investors, and
Okay.
that's one you can see up there. That's those guys, as you probably recognize. But over the year, in total, we have around 30 million with those money. In total, 30 million US has gone into the company since 2008,
Okay, 30.
both private and public. And I know you have a lot of experience in this industry. I mean, I think Innovolite is a very good example on how to, and we are taking a lot of the business models as you were using, and I think you showed really how to make it actually. So we've been looking very much into your case and how you did it there, and actually selling on improved performance. But of course we do on a material basis. I think we are completely different to what you were doing there, and we have shown that how to produce those nanowires and actually how to make the nanowire structure with the preservation and all the different layers in the PNI dopant and 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 also
It's a
showing the
dimensional challenge. Is that
it's a three-dimensional.
Thank you
Sorry,
very much. We'll go on to the next one.
but very good question actually. Thank you very much for you spot on there. I think both of you were shot there.
So we go to upstream technologies. Generate electricity from solar PV panels and be converted from the DC to AC using inverters. Inverters have been around for more than 100 years of different kinds. But remember, a solar PV installation is never better than what its inverters are. So the challenge is to minimize the losses in the overall installation and in the inverters, and obviously later on in the distribution. So let's listen to Anders, the off-the-string story.
Thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Anders. I'm CEO and co-founder of OptiString. Do you know what the biggest problem for the solar industry is? It's profitability. The panel manufacturers are making losses. But we can help, and we can help them with the electronics inside of this one. We are doing inverters that are smarter and lower cost than anyone else. Inverters are, as Magnus said, needed to convert DC from the panels into AC for the power grid. And our inverters are ideal for integration onto the panels, making it possible for the panel manufacturers to build a complete solar power system. For you who know a bit about the business, this is not a power optimizer, it's not a microinverter. This is something completely different. Our production cost is below half of those competing solutions. We're even competitive with low-cost, low-featured string inverters. So let's take a look at the market trends. More and more panels are installed on rooftops and facades. And this is driven by an increased willingness to produce our own power, lower systems cost, and of course new financial models like third-party owned PV. About 30 to 40% of the panels are installed on rooftops today, and that's 50 million panels every year. They need inverters to a value of 2 billion euros. Now when putting panels onto buildings, new problems arise. Partial shading and different mounting angles make the system suffer on energy output using traditional technology. And fire and fireman safety is getting more and more attention, and new regulations are being developed. With our inverters, we can increase the energy harvest in these situations with up to 25%. And we can make the system safe and compliant with safety regulations without any added cost. So let's get back to that problem and our customers. We will sell the electronics to panel OEMs. They will put it on the backside of the panels right from the beginning. This gives us high volumes and high growth, and combined with outsourced production, our business model is really capital efficient and scalable. It gives our customers a path to move downstream towards their end customers, and they can use that complete system that they get to capture the margins in the installer part of the value chain. They can increase, with our help, their gross profit gross margin from 10% to 30%. And that means going from red numbers to black numbers on the last line. We have a joint development together with one of the biggest and best panel manufacturers in the world. In that agreement, we have a forecast on volumes and pricing. And by 2018, the revenue will be 100 million euros and a profit of 28 million euros. We are now seeking 5 million euros to accelerate things, and that will get us to break even in 2016. So if you want if you want to be part of transforming the PV industry, please join us. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. So, Tarja,
Okay, if I shoot off with the first question.
please.
Thank you for the presentation, first of all. The question that comes to mind, if you look at what's happening in the at least in the residential area, the panel manufacturers, I mean, many of them are teaming up with the, whether it's like if you look at Sonnenbatterie in Germany, I mean, they are bringing the storage solution, and, it's not only the panels anymore, but it comes with the storage solution.
Yeah.
So it's sort of gone a bit, one step further from just buying the panels on the roof, which then brings that then either you would need to sort of team up with a player like that or the panel manufacturer, currently that's not the picture there. So if people are actually going for this sort of whole solution with the storage and panels and so forth, how do you solve this if you come with the the panel manufacturer with the inverter solution bypassing the integrator?
I mean, we're just supporting it. The panel manufacturer will get the complete system with panels and electronics, and we can add storage to this system as well as we go. So we're really enabling that. I mean, that's what we want to do and what we will do.
Okay, good.
How many, in order to optimize it and realize the greatest number of savings, how many panels do you need to have string together?
We're focusing on a typical residential system, like 14, 16, 20 panels,
Okay.
something like that. 3 to 5 kilowatts in terms of power.
Okay.
Okay, a big hand for Anders. We have some energy, but we need more energy. So let's look another source of renewable energy. The overall worldwide wave energy resource is estimated to be more than 2 terawatt per year. At least what I read. And, but again, the first known patent on the use of energy from the ocean dates back to 1799. So we come a long way. And I'd like to introduce Patrick to explain how you do it in your way.
Thank you, Magnus. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrik Möller. I am the CEO of Core Power Ocean. As Magnus said, wave power represents a huge untapped resource of clean energy. But despite very attractive features, so far wave energy converters, because of the very hostile environment of the oceans, have become large and heavy compared to their energy output, with a cost of energy that has prevented commercial harvesting. This is something we are changing. Core Power Ocean has developed a compact, high-efficiency wave energy converter inspired by the pumping principles of the human heart. We use a method called phase control to get these buoys to oscillate in resonance with incoming waves, which allows using a small buoy to absorb a large amount of energy. As an example, an 8-meter buoy can deliver about 300 kilowatts in a typical Atlantic coast environment. The small buoys use little material, which gives a low capex cost, and they are small enough to be handled by standard vessels, which really reduces the cost for operations and maintenance offshore. Extensive tank testing has proven an increase in the annual energy output per ton of device of more than 5 times compared to the current state-of-the-art wave power. Another important feature of this, when the storms roll in a similar way to the wind turbines pitching the blades, we can turn off this amplification of absorption by phase control, and in that sense making the small buoys with having a very good survivability. This slide has been messed up. It all boils down to a very robust and economic operation with an expected cost of energy that can compete with offshore wind in the near term and long term with more established energy sources. Our business model is focused on selling the wave energy converter itself, and the world's most effective one. And when it comes to wave farms, we cooperate with engineering companies like Iberdrola here for engineering, procurement, and construction. And together we have the capacity to supply turnkey solutions to utility customers and island communities around the world. We just kicked off a major pilot with Iberdrola, who are betting on our technology for the next 3 years. By the end of 2016, we expect to have demonstrated full-scale unit in the UK waters, and in 2017 to be ready to ship the first commercial units to additional customers. Making wave power competitive unlocks a significant market of selling wave energy converters with good profitability. We have a really unique technology, a good IP situation, and a technology that has been proven by the leading wave power groups in Portugal and Trondheim. When it comes to funding, we have a somewhat reasonable capital need. We have so far used 1.5 million euros and secured another 3 million for the pilot. To this, we are looking to add about 1.5 million in equity funding, and we can offer a leverage of 3x on that. Stop by our booth to talk more waves.
Okay, thank you very much.
Two quick questions.
Yes.
What is the output? Maybe I missed that. And how do you provide the maintenance if something goes wrong and a mechanical engineer has to go there at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yep, two
Waves
important.
are coming, you know.
Two important questions. So an 8-meter device can deliver approximately 300 kilowatts.
Okay.
And its weights around 50 tons, which in this world is extremely small. It means that you can use a standard boat with a standard crane to go out, and it's small enough so you can have a few of them on a boat, pre-configured and pre-checked on land. And the broken ones that you have in the sea, we have a quick connect interface. You take that one out and you put in a new one directly. You take the broken one to shore and you will repair it offline without getting downtime in the park.
Right. Anyone else? One?
Just maybe shortly, how does it compare with the other wave energy technology solutions out there? I mean, because there's a lot of different approaches over the past 20 years. So just shortly, what's the 1, 2, 3?
The heart, heart beating.
Yeah, I mean, really the difference is that we use phase control to get the buoys to oscillate in resonance with the waves. That is the key that allows us to deliver 5 times more energy per ton of device. And in the end, it's really the material that puts the baseline cost to any technology like this. So getting more energy with less material is the key. I believe that's why wave power so far hasn't been.
Capex per kilowatt?
The capex per kilowatt, we expect to sell these devices for around 600k euros for a 300 kilowatt unit.
Okay, thank you very much. So the main difference is the heart. Right, thank you.
Now we move into the voting part. So the jury will vote on one company that they would like to invest in, and one each, and only one. And the audience, you also have the possibility to do the voting. So it's very easy. Take your smartphone, go to this web URL.
Are they Robin's private or public?
Yours are public, and you will show them later on in the end. And we will also have the vote from the audience. Use the code there. The voting will be open for 5 minutes. We have some really nice prizes for the winner from our sponsors, both Microsoft and Samsung. And by that, I hand over to Pio and an interesting discussion with the jury.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it will be really interesting to see if you are aligned with the audience here. Yes. Are you talking now with which one you should vote for? Okay.
Colluding.
Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to decide. Then we're gonna pick the brains of these 3 guys for 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll disclose the results. Did you finish? You finished? That's pretty easy, right? To decide on a 3-minute pitch. No.
It's 12 letters.
Okay. Good hint. So while you finish the voting, I think some of you are still voting, and Catherine sees the result there live. Yeah, it's ticking in. We'll start the Q&A. The first question might sound a bit blunt, but it's not. Why are you here? By that I mean, why are you in Stockholm in general to scout companies? Because I guess you are. We see you now and then here. And please try to avoid the polite stuff, the yada yada. Why is Stockholm a spot for you to scout companies?
Well, I think if you remember my initial remarks, it doesn't come as a surprise that I come back here. Right.
I agree. For you, Klaus, it was a pretty stupid question. Yeah, for the.
I give
Yeah.
you another one.
I'd just say from me, it's a very short flight, and I think there's good deal flow.
And I come for the weather, obviously. No, no. I think that we see great entrepreneurs who really want to build big companies here, and I think there are smarter engineers with good design skills that with big visions, more in a concentrated location here than just about any other city. I mean, alongside maybe London, Berlin, but I'd put it up there in that pantheon in Europe.
Yeah. Well, I anyway want to answer it a little bit. So, if you look very closely at the whole scenery of tech investing, the most appealing what a VC can look for is a 22 to 30-year-old entrepreneur that has a technological background, right? Because they stumble upon problems in their own life and they tend to solve them via technology. So, and if you then look at the characteristics, at the education in the different cultural regions, then it is very interesting that, for example, the Swedish and the UK people, they have in college, they'll have a subject like economics. The Germans don't have that. So that as a consequence, if you have a technological founder, which is 22, 23 years old, and he sits on this idea with his source with technology, he's totally scared to be self-employed. Because, this bookkeeping, accounting, balance sheet shit, yeah, he's totally scared because he has never in his life dealt with it, right? So, and at the end, we are looking for great entrepreneurs, and some characteristics is that you dare. So the likelihood that a guy with technological background dares to be self-employed in the UK or in Stockholm especially is way higher. The likelihood is way higher. And then there are additional features. I think the Swedish entrepreneurs are very gifted in design. So everything which is B2C, where design plays a role of a marketing, the Swedish do a spectacular job. Secondly, in general, they are very humble and executor and very reliable and ethical people. So you don't have this propeller head that try to make Scandies out of shit and run around and sell hot air. So you really have substance whenever people say something. So and I think this combination makes Stockholm a very, very appealing place for entrepreneurs so that they deal with substance, they deal with agreeable people that it is very nice to bond with, and also for me as an entrepreneur and finance guy, it is very, very rewarding and personally satisfying if I can accompany those kind of characters in fulfilling their dream when they want to build their organization.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you for an elaborate answer. So if we, it seems that you agree that there is a reason to be here in scout companies, no matter if it's for the short flight or for other reasons. What do you guys do to actually be visible here? Because as we will, we will have the pitch track for investors in an hour. We feel working in the startup space that it's, I would exaggerate if I would say that it's getting crowded of investors, but there are a lot of investors kind of trying to get the attraction from companies here as well. How do you do to get the attraction from, or the attention from the best startups here?
So I volunteered again. It's a tough question, right? I think we spend time here. So me and Nikolai out of our office come here quite a lot. And we try to develop relationships with some of the people that we know. And the Klaus, I completely agree that are the great characters up here. And I think we go about it through the relationships, really, about deal sourcing and making sure that we stay close to some of the people we believe will see the deal flow more than some kind of event or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't do a lot of investments, and I'm especially trying to concentrate on those that become very, very big, and therefore the natural number of those that you can do is pretty limited. And concentrating on that, the lucky thing is with the luck I had in the past and the visibility now. The last 3 deals I did, the entrepreneurs had like 100 million on their bank account, but they wanted to ammunition themselves in the board with people that have gone through several stages where a company have gone from 0 to like 10 digit. And it is more like hiring or getting a partner in crime, and it was not about the financing stuff. So that's where, and so in order to get known, I think it is more working with the best entrepreneurs and making them advocate our achievements that we have done in the past and spread the word about it.
Does that mean that you will mostly do a little bit later stage investments in
No,
Stockholm?
I think it's stage agnostic. Yeah, so if I feel a comparable passion about the startup as the entrepreneur himself, then I want to get involved.
I mean, look, I think similar to what you said. You know, we try and be here. We try and build relationships. I think the most important thing to get visibility is to make investments, right? And you know, we've made a few, and if we invest in good companies and we help them, and you know, hopefully they will spread the word and say that, you know, we've added value to those businesses. I think, you know, we're fortunate. We're a big fund, so we have deep pockets, and lots of people kind of come to us anyway. And I think the experience of our team, you know, building, several of my colleagues have built, you know, billion-dollar businesses. That's helpful, because that's the kind of people that entrepreneurs want, you know, to help them grow their businesses. So I think, yeah, being here, building relationships, and being helpful. And I should make a call out to Daniel and Sam in case they're in the room. No, they're not. They're the other ones probably. But 3 of us are here today for that reason.
Mm-hmm. Do you get a good deal flow from angels here in Stockholm and the North Zone, Creandum, and those guys? For syndication?
Yeah, I think we have a reasonably good relationship with you know, North Zone, Creandum, and Angels here. I mean, I think there's always an element of competition versus collaboration. I guess we each have similar objectives ultimately. Those are big funds that themselves that, you know, want to be big international funds too. And so yes, when we can collaborate, we do. We love having helpful people around the table with us. I think. You know, Klaus being an example.
Keeping sources secret.
Yep.
No, I agree. I mean, it's, you know, as Harry said.
Yeah. Okay. So what about the pitches we heard today? Could you, in addition to the comments that you made earlier, could you mention any major takeaways? Any highlights or anything that you thought about especially?
My 2 comments would be that I would separate very much what I think is like a tactical kind of product that people build to solve one thing, and what is like a long-term, what I would say, important opportunity. And I like the latter part more. I think it's a temperament thing. And then I would just say there's a couple of people that I think, or at least there was one that mentioned that the online retailers are having a good time. And I think if you go and ask them, that's questionable. I think there's a few of them that are having a good time, and I think there are a lot of them that are having a very hard time. So it was just a thought that we had some stuff that was kind of in the lead gen space, and I think that's a tough space to be in, as I think also Klaus alluded to at one point.
Okay. Klaus and Harry, any specific takeaways?
I mean, I'd try harder to sort of sell us the dream. It's almost like when you're pitching us, or I think, I'm not sure if it's all of us, but probably all of us. We're not so much looking for, you know, is this going to make a financial plan that makes sense over so many years and so on. We're looking for, is this an entrepreneur that I would be excited enough to, you know, if I were a 25-year-old, you know, engineer or product person, would I go and work for this team? Because it's an exciting enough vision and dream and an exciting enough entrepreneur and leader. So I would always try and, I mean, for my benefit anyway, talk about that bigger picture, you know, where the world is headed, what are the things, what are the big trends that you're tapping into over the next few years, and how, you know, you can play a major part in that, because I think people buy into dreams more than into, you know, products.
Well, my impression is there were some low-hanging fruit ideas, which I mean is, I think, with the ecosystem here and the great technology and design skills, I think the aspirations of interfering into new markets and create something new could be a little bit more stressed than taking like smaller ideas or already have seen models. So I missed that a little bit. Also, this is a relative problem. If you go, for example, to places like Hungary or Turkey, you only have those kind of things. So it's already way better here, but you also have a very inspiring crowd around you. So take that advantage and look for an interchange here and try to go a little bit, push the borders a little bit more and don't get so much into mutations of already have seen the model.
Mm-hmm. So, from the audience, do you have any questions for the panel before we go into the results of the vote?
Well, when you're not here at Steam Day and you come visit Stockholm, where else would you find me?
Litma, at the bar.
I think you would easily ping us. Just shoot a mail or do something online.
That's big words. I'm saying, are you that open-minded?
Yeah, yeah, sure. And the better way is to do it through someone that you know that we know, right? So an investment we've made or something like that. But yes, we really want to see what is out there, right? And see it also fairly early.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if you are reaching out, as you say, either do it through someone or make it succinct and in some way relevant to us. You know, we don't like dear sir, madam, or, you know, fill in the blank name. I get actually a surprising number of emails where it sort of says, you know, I think it'd be great to have Index Ventures and whatever. You know, another investor that they haven't swapped out. So make it feel personal. You'd be amazed. So make it relevant and engaging, because you know, if you can sell to me, it's a sign that you can sell to customers too. But yes, as you say, if even better if it comes from, you know, Carl Valdekrantz or someone that we know, because you know, it's an endorsement.
Okay. I think, you know, we have a specific situation here in the voting. The manometer worked very well as last year, but did you close the voting procedure? Could we open it up again? Is that possible? Because we had exactly the same amount of votes for the two best. So, I don't know. Is it possible to vote another? Yeah, if you haven't, guys, you can vote.
The deciders.
Yeah, we'll do like that. We'll have two winners if it's not possible to open it up. We have two prizes, so we'll have to discuss that later on. How we'll yeah. Okay, so let's bring up the three top companies. After doing that, we're gonna hear what you wise guys said, and then we're gonna see what was the very the two favorites of the audience. So the three top companies were, without any internal order, Relation Desk. And the second one was, without any internal order, Volumental. And the third one was Poppermost Productions. So, let's hear what you said or wrote. Volumental.
Slight favoritism here. Sparta.
Volumental, Snow, and Sparta. Okay.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. So, the
You
winners.
present the winners.
Yeah, we're gonna have Microsoft present a prize to the winners. I don't know if that's doable because it's one prize, but you'll handle that, okay? So, the two winners are Volumental and Relation Desk. Yeah.
We'll make two. Can you hear me? No? Okay. So this is a $25,000 worth of Azure consumption in Microsoft Cloud. So you can find it right now. And I will give you one as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And from our sponsor, we also have a nice prize, Galaxy Tablet Pro, to share. That is.
So, we'll see. We'll discuss that later. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so a big hand for all the pitchers. And then also a really, really big hand for the panel. Thank you guys so much for coming. And,
Thank you. And we also have you a nice gift to Uganda. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So, and the final words here is that please take the moment now before next session at 5 to, because at 5 we're going to have the investor pitches. But before that, you have the possibility to have one-to-one meetings over there in the exhibition area, and also over there in one of the rooms where there are small tables for that. Thank you very much.